All right, I have moved on to the next page in our PDF to look at computational thinking. This is the largest concept area within the computer science and digital fluency standards. You have 10 standards to cover for this area. But as we break them down, I'm sure you'll notice that you already do some of these with your students in the classroom. The first one is modeling and simulation. Here we're thinking about patterns. We often talk about nature patterns or patterns in building things in math or in science. So you're going to help your students identify and make predictions based on patterns. As we move into data analysis and visualization, we're thinking about how we collect data. And then for the CT3, computational thinking 3, we're thinking about ways that we can identify and visualize that data. So anytime you're using charts or you're collecting information with surveys or check marks or anything along those lines, you're hitting these standards very well. As we move into abstraction and decomposition, we're thinking about breaking down a problem into smaller parts. So this could be how to tie your shoelaces or how to dress to go outside for winter and so on. And then as you move into 5, we're thinking about how we can do the same task maybe multiple ways. So you can have your students describe 3 different ways to get to a set of 10 or 3 different ways to get to the door of your classroom from their desk and so on. And then we get into the real bulk of the computational thinking standard area, which is algorithms and programming. When you think about following an algorithm for that first one, for CT6, algorithms is just following a sequence. It's a step-by-step procedure. So your students really do this fairly often in your class, like how to line up for lunch or again how to get dressed to go out for recess during the winter. You can have your students think of those steps. It could be 3 or more that they have to do to accomplish something. In CT7, we're identifying terms that refer to different concrete values. So it could be today's date, today's weather, line leaders, where you're thinking about how those values can change based on date or time. So again, it's probably something you do a lot in your circle time or morning meetings where we're really thinking about observing different things that happen. As we move into CT8, we're thinking about the steps that are repeated. So thinking about loops or repetition, sequencing. Really here you can spend a lot of time on the vocabulary of computational thinking to make sure your students have that foundation. And then think about when they have to repeat something over and over again. As we get into 9, we're going to identify the problems within our algorithm. So if you have the students think of the path to the front door, but then something isn't going right because they get stuck by a desk, what can they do to fix that error in their algorithm? And then finally, you're thinking about creating plans to outline the task. So here you're thinking about having your students write down those step-by-step procedures, but you're doing it together as a group.